I'm Susan with Susan's Country Living. Welcome to my kitchen. It is in the swing of garden time. The garden's coming in, and I've been canning and putting food away, preserving, freezing, giving away, and trying some new things. So this is something new I'm going to be trying today. I had a tomato plant that was in decline, and it had a lot of huge tomatoes on it. And we've had so much rain this spring that I'm thinking it's just, some sort of root rot or an insect or fungus or some bacteria, something that hit this certain variety. All the other tomato plants are doing great, but this one variety seems to struggle. So I decided, instead of just watch those tomatoes, be wasted, I went ahead and picked them. So they're large. This was a Paul Roberson. I've grown Paul Roberson before. They've done beautifully, but we did have a lot of rain, and that may be part of the problem. So I have a lot of green tomatoes that I pulled off of it, quite a few this size, and this morning I went on out there and pulled a few more. Some of them started to blush and turn, so I just have them on my kitchen counter, and I'm going to let them turn red, and we'll enjoy those. So I'm going to make a green tomato relish. If you have ever been to Catfish King, a lot of them are in East Texas, they would always have this condiment on the table that was a green tomato relish, and it's so good. So I found a copycat recipe, and we're going to try it out today. I'm going to use my green tomatoes, and I'm going to chunk them up, and we'll just see how many I get. I have a quart measure here. The recipe I found called for like 2 gallons, so I've modified it. So based on what I get, that's going to be the recipe that I'm going to give you, that I'm going to use today. So you'll need some green tomatoes. I'm going to use sweet onion. It's going to be chopped up. It called for jalapenos, and I really don't want mine hot and spicy. So I'm going to use some frozen colored bell peppers that I had in my freezer. I may try, if I do another recipe, try it with some jalapeno just to see what it's like. You're going to need some white vinegar, some sugar, and some salt. And that's it. No other seasonings. Some people I've seen add mustard seeds or, other types of seasoning. And hopefully it's going to bring back those memories of eating at Catfish King in East Texas when I was a kid. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to get these washed up and get them chunked up and see how many tomatoes I have. Now, you don't have to peel the green tomatoes. That's one great thing about this relish. I'm just going to cut the core out here. I'll go to the chickens, and I had already cut the little blossom end off there, and these will be kind of cut in chunks, is the way that they serve them in the restaurant. So I'm going to cut them about yay thick, 5/8 of an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. There, and then just kind of cut them into little wedged chunks like this. And we're just going to put them in my container over there. Look how beautiful that is. So pretty, such a beautiful color. And I will cut a little bit of that core out that I see there as I'm going through. I chopped up the bell peppers about like that. It's about half a cup. I ended up with 2 quarts of tomatoes. So we're going to chop up an onion and get 1 cup of a chopped up onion. I'm not going to do this too fine. I've cut my pieces about 3/8 to 1/2 inch chop, you know, so just so you can still see them, know that they're there. They will maybe hold their texture, their crunchiness. All right, let's see how much we got there. It called for a cup. Oops, it's on the floor. I'll throw that in the trash. Okay. So that 1/2 of an onion, oh, it was a large onion, gave me 1 cup chopped. You can add a little more if you want to. If you want more of that onion flavor. Okay, so we're ready to get started here. I ended up with, like I said, 2 quarts of chopped up green tomatoes. I've got my 1 cup of vinegar in here, and 1 1/2 cup sugar, and 1/4 cup salt. And it said just combine everything. It said combine everything into the pot and bring to a boil. And there were 2 different recipes I saw where the process, one said to water bath it, like just to bring it to a boil, and then load your jars and water bath it 30 minutes. I saw another one where you simmered for 5 minutes after it boiled, and then you processed 15 minutes. So I think I'm going to go look at those recipes and look at the sugar content to see which one I'm going to use. Okay, so I have it all in the pot, and I'm going to turn my heat on and just give this a really good stir. The tomatoes will add some juice as this starts to warm. Plus the salt in there and the sugar in there will help to bring those juices out. To expedite that process a little bit and go see how long I'm going to be processing this. Okay, so the tomatoes have been simmering for 5 minutes, the onions and peppers. I went ahead and added some mustard seed, yellow mustard seed, and some celery seed. There was a recipe that I looked at that called for that, and I thought that would be nice. So I added, about a 1/2 teaspoon of mustard seed and about a teaspoon of celery seed to it. And I have my jars out. I'm going to fill these to 1/4 inch headspace, and then we will process them for 15 minutes. And I'm going to use this to drain. I have my jars right here, and I have my funnel, and we're going to fill these, and I'll come back and add liquid if needed. I'm also going to be pressing these down as they go into the jars. And I hope these turn out good. To measure your 1/4 inch headspace if you like. Or you just kind of know when you look, when you fill it up, you just kind of know what's a 1/4 inch. When you've done it so long, you know on your funnel. Juice. A lot of liquid on it. There. That's about a 1/4 inch. Alright, so we're going to come around with, you can use this to get the bubbles out from around. And if you needed to add more liquid, you could do that. These have a lot of bubbles. Now, of course, this is good a condiment for, you know, when you're having catfish, but also on pinto beans or black-eyed peas. It goes really well, pairs really well with those kinds of dishes. But like, you know, coleslaw has vinegar and sugar like this does. You know, you usually have coleslaw when you have fried catfish. This kind of takes the place of that if you don't happen to have any cabbage available. And we're going to put our lids on. I started using these 4 jars. I watched a lot of people on YouTube that do canning, and they said how great they are. And they do. They seal. I've not had any problems with them. I was using the Tatler lids, or Fresh Guard, that are reusable, and they work well too, but there's usually, when I water bath something, a lot of the time those don't do as well. They do great when I'm pressure canning. So remember what you do, finger tight, just till you can turn it like that, where you should be able to turn it like that, and then when it starts to turn, then that you know it's finger tight. Alright, skip one here. Alright, there we go. Okay, we're ready to put them in our steam canner over here. I really like using this. I don't have to, you know, haul the big water. This was a great investment when I'm doing a small batch. If I'm doing a huge batch, I use my Amish canner that one of my boys got for my birthday one year, when I'm doing, you know, huge batches of pickles and stuff like that. So, all right, we're going to put that on there. We're going to turn it up, and when it gets up to the temperature, then we will start our timer for 15 minutes. Okay, so our tomato relish is finished processing. So I'm just going to cut this off here. And move it over here to a towel to let them cool. And hopefully we'll hear some pop, pop, pop if it hasn't already done that already. So let me show you. Beautiful tomato relish. You can see the onions, you can see the red peppers and the orange peppers. And then we'll let it sit for 2 weeks and see how it does. But what I tasted right there tasted pretty good. I'm glad you joined me today in my kitchen. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. I'm always posting about cooking and gardening and canning, sometimes sewing, different things that we do here in the country on our little homestead. While I'm off during the summer, because I teach school, I'm able to get a lot of this done so that we have food for the next year. And with the way prices are, I went to the grocery store yesterday just to get a few things, and you can't hardly go for less than $100 anymore. So, you know, learning how to can, learning these skill sets, water bath canning, pressure canning, it's worth the investment. It will pay off in the long run. You can reuse your jars. You can order lids online or do the reusable lids like the Tatler lids or the Harvest Guard lids like I've done in the past, and you'll be able to cut down on your food bill, especially if you grow your own food. Also visiting farmers markets, getting with your your local farmers, with your FFA at your school. A lot of those kids, their parents are in agriculture, and I just bought a box of corn from some former students of mine, and getting ready to put that up. So, think outside the box. Get on some of these new apps. That there's lots of apps out there. Farmish, Local Harvest, where you can find people in your area that have food for sale at a lot cheaper than what you're going to get at the store, and a lot better for you. So I hope you have a great rest of your day and make you some green tomato relish. Bye, y'all.